All right, Benny. To wrap up the show, we do the commentary, and again, look around. Obviously, nobody's paying us, so we can say whatever we want.
That's right. That's
We
right.
don't have to worry about a thing. Let's go to our Facebook page, Ben and Barry on football at BMBOF. I just want to mention our comment that we got on YouTube. We are a fledgling YouTube show, and sometimes I don't, on YouTube you get these people who give you a comment, and then the next thing you know, you're following them, and you get the feeling that's why you got the comment. It's like they're smart enough to know they say something nice, you'll follow them. It worked with this guy, but I love the comment, so I'm just going to take it as being authentic. Good job. You guys make me look like a genius when I talk football with my buddies. You do all the hard work, and I go out and talk like I'm an NFL insider.
Wow. Now,
That makes my day.
it was all good until he said he takes what he gets from us and makes himself sound like an NFL insider. Like that's one hell of a comment. Because I don't think I'm anywhere close to being an NFL insider, nor do I sound like one. But I, I tell you what, if people watch this show and they really pay attention to the power rankings, you know, my part, I'm just entertainment. These power rankings are real. They really are. That's why we're doing this thing, because you impressed me so much with how these power rankings work. And if people would take the time to actually look at the numbers and watch how we do things, and then watch the NFL Network and look at their power rankings and compare them to yours, I think they'll see something. I think they'll find that extremely interesting. Not only how close they are without us using any opinion or conjecture, how close they are to the so-called experts' power rankings that are full of opinion and conjecture. Yet the slight differences are based on the numbers. So you can't argue them. You can't look at ours and say, well, why aren't the Chiefs number one? Which I think is crazy anyway, because at the time Pittsburgh was undefeated, but still, you know,
Yeah.
it's all about the numbers, man. It's all about the numbers.
Hey, and it's funny because as I put out on social media the other day, I said, um, you want to know what the experts are saying weeks before they say it?
Right.
So yeah, thank you. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Next up on the Ben and Barry show, we talked a little bit about Aaron Rodgers last week. This was that show. We have an article here. I put it out. This is all of the emergency precaution quarterbacks. And now I don't know if I can. Let me see something. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, I know what I have to do here. Let me switch this over real quick to the next tab because I just wanted to show just a little bit of that particular article because I want people to know to go to because we're going into that last quarter and some of these guys you just don't know who's going to wind up if somebody gets COVID, you know, and then all of a sudden you find out that they've been in the quarterback room with the other guy, and hopefully they keep that one guy completely separate. But you look at the Dolphins, rookie wide receivers Malcolm Perry and Lynn Bolton Jr. as emergency backups. Julian Edelman, if healthy, and also Jacoby Myers um, up there in New England. Jeff Smith, wide receiver, Practice squad, Mike White. The Jets have 3 signal callers on the active roster, but those are a couple of the guys. So, the Baltimore Ravens are going to go to a punter.
Sam Cook, yeah. He can throw. I seen him throw the ball in a game on a fake punt.
That's what they're saying. His ability to throw the ball is quite extraordinary. So
yeah, he can spin it.
Interesting. So won't go through all of that, but I did want to just kind of mention that that article is there. Check it out, and you'll get an opportunity to kind of see what's there, and we do what we can to bring everybody on board there. All right. Next up, Dez Bryant. Dez tweeted after being told that he had tested positive. He tweeted that he was going to call it quits for the rest of the season. He's already retracted it. But he took this so emotionally that, one of the things that about Dez was he was emotionally a bit erratic when he was with the Cowboys. I mean, he would be the guy on the sideline screaming and acting crazy and everything. And at one point it was juice, and then at another point it was a distraction, And the thing that struck me about this was that he never acknowledged his danger to other people. It was all about him. I'm really messed up about this. I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to drink some wine and learn to cope. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Dez, you were a threat when you were positive. You were shedding virus. And it would have been nice to hear you say, I'm glad they caught it. I wouldn't want to have infected anybody else. So, that was missing out of that conversation. And I just, I'm not trying to be particularly critical of Dez. Dez kind of represents a lot of people's attitude. And I can understand if you're all juiced about playing your old team. He was ready to go. I hear he was one of the reasons that they said that they didn't have to take anybody else off the field, because when they did when they checked to see who he had been around, apparently he had gotten to the field so early, most of the other people weren't even there yet. So he wasn't around a lot of people to have infected them. He was really hyped and juiced. So, I mean, empathetically, I'm with him. IQ or EQ, emotional quotient, maturity-wise, I would have liked to have heard him say, I'm glad that I didn't, I wasn't infecting anybody, or that they caught it so that I could protect those people around me and make sure nobody else got it. What can I tell you?
Well, I heard a little something else about this situation.
Uh-oh.
Supposedly, they run through everybody's tests real quick before the game, sometime before the game that day or whatever. And supposedly, his test came back inconclusive.
Right, the first one.
The first one, right. Sometime before the game started, but while all the players from both teams were there, they came back and said that he was positive. In the meantime, he went out and hugged almost every Dallas Cowboy in the building. And the NFL didn't say nothing.
And the NFL said nothing.
Nothing.
Coach, so good to see you. Come here. Let me get it all on you.
I'm not even worried about Dez right now. I'm trying to figure out what were they thinking to allow that to happen. Like, he should have been immediately told to go to the locker room.
So you think, no, well, yeah, I think he was after he was told he was positive, but I'm assuming he did all the hugging before he was told.
That's not the way I heard it.
Are you serious?
I heard he was salty. First of all, he was juiced up to play the game. He found out he wasn't going to play the game, so he got mad. So then he wanted to go and tell all his boys, yeah, man, they said I'm positive, man. I can't even play, man. But it's good seeing you, bro.
Stop.
yeah,
But like I said, I question Des' emotional IQ or
yeah,
emotional
really.
quotient, and that would actually prove a little bit more to my point if he did that. Oh my goodness! And now we got to be on watch to see whether the entire Cowboy team
Yeah, right.
comes out positive. Holy macaroni!
You know what would be great though?
What?
If it was a false positive. If they come back and say it was a false positive and he was actually okay. It won't make him happy because then he'll be pissed because he missed the game. You know what I mean? But I mean, he's gonna miss the game anyway.
The second test was different from the first test. And from what I understand, where they were, there were testing facilities really close, which is why they were able to get the test back so quickly. But I understand that test was supposedly very accurate. So,
Okay.
we shall see. We shall see. Okay, that's enough on Dez. I want to mention, visit us again at Ben and Barry on Football for the 2021 NFL mock draft. I know you said you were going to be looking into some of the colleges, Ben. You probably haven't had a chance with fantasy tying you up so much.
Yeah, fantasy's really got me going, but and you know, a lot of these college games are getting canceled because of COVID. So they came up with this rule. I just heard this last night. If two teams, because everybody's playing their conference schedules, they're not doing too much playing out of conference teams because they know they're not going to be able to get in a full slate of games. So if two teams played each other and then if Team A and Team B play each other, and then Team A has a game against another team, and Team B has a game against another team, and the two teams that Team A and B are playing have to cancel because of COVID, Team A and B can play again because they have another rule that they put in earlier in the season, also related to COVID, that in order to be eligible for the college playoff, which only 4 teams are eligible for that, any can make it anyway, but in order to even compete to get in it, you have to play a minimum of 6 games. So at first they thought they were all good. You got to play a minimum of 6 games. Okay, fine. Everybody probably will qualify for that. It'll be fine. Then there's been so many cancellations. Now they're saying, in order to make sure you can get 6 games, we'll even let you play somebody you already played. How crazy is that?
Yeah, NCAA is
It's wacky, man. It's wacky.
But your top 10 picks, you can find them on Ben and Barry on Football. We talked a little bit about Bills, the quarterback, and Josh getting that player of the week. So we already mentioned that earlier. Congratulations. Too bad he did all of that against my Niners. Last but not least, we always like to talk about something really good that happens. Russell and Ciara have funded a charter school. It was an existing charter school, but it's going to come under Russ and Ciara's foundation. Their foundation is called Why Not You? And so that's kind of, they're going to be taking over, and they put up like, I forget how many millions to do that. But Russell Wilson, again, reaching out, part of that whole NFL outreach program. There's so much going on, so many of these guys. And this is, I think, part of the Inspired Change initiative that they have. And I think that Inspired Change is why we aren't hearing so much about the Players Coalition. They kind of got into the Inspired Change and just assimilated, so we don't hear about them so much. But congratulations to Russell and Ciara. So anything on that?
No. Do we have anything on it? They had they're still doing the My Cars, My Cleats thing, they had some really sharp looking cleats, man. Nice. Them joints are hot. Customs. But
Yeah.
that's a good thing too. It gives the guys a chance to not only, look nice, but a chance to push their causes and their foundations and their charities and things that they're interested in and work with outside of football. So I think that's great.
Football has loosened up a little bit, man. You
Yeah,
know,
a little bit, a little
they've
bit.
loosened up a little bit. They're seeing the errors of some of their ways. They still have some attitudes that they have to deal with. But can't be too mad at them. So, all right, that wraps it up for me on Ben and Barry on football. Don't forget to click the notification button and the bell and all of that good stuff so that when we put out the new videos, you will be notified. Ben, any last words?
I have two. Don't sleep on the NFC East. It's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to go down to the wire. Other than that, go Noles.